With YouTube attacking alternative media, please consider supporting the channel via Patreon for just $1 per month. Link below. I'm going to start off by saying I'm not a huge Jimmy Kimmel fan. I haven't been for a while. I don't really find him funny since he left the Man Show and then immediately jumped on the whole Me Too movement with complete disregard to everything that he pioneered on the Man Show. It's not to say that the show probably wasn't sexist and misogynistic to some extent, but that being said, it was still funny and it was the 90s. It was a different time. And of course, Jimmy being on ABC and being, I want to say like probably the top late night host outside of maybe Jimmy Fallon, that you know, he's gonna get himself into some shit so every once in a while. Ah, fuck, I fucked that one up. All right, I lost my train of thought. Hold on, start over again. I want to start off by saying I'm not a huge fan of Jimmy Kimmel. Haven't been for quite some time. Guy comes across as smug, right? Comes across as elitist, and this is coming from me. One of my predominant criticisms is that I come off as smug and elitist. So there we go. But the point is, Jimmy Kimmel is, I want to say at this point, probably like the most watched late night host right now. All right. He's always kind of getting himself in a little bit of trouble. You know, whether it's taking on the repeal of Obamacare by using his kids as an example is why something like that is needed, or it's some of the ways he goes after some of Donald Trump's cabinet with like the really crazy, creepy puppet of Kellyanne Conway and things like that. But now he's under it. He's in a lot of shit. He's in a lot of shit because of, well, poking fun at Melania Trump. In fact, according to Breitbart here, there is a boycott Kimmel petition that reached 50,000 signatures after the ABC host mocked Melania Trump's accent. Right? Out of all the things to get mad at criticizing Melania Trump over, apparently the accent was like the key. Now, a lot of people out there, and this is just kind of what I've been reading, a lot of people out there are very much under the belief that like Melania is off limits in terms of criticism. And what they were making fun of her for here does feel relatively benign, and it does feel somewhat petty, considering the fact that ultimately Melania has done nothing wrong. But at the same point in time, she is in fact a public figure. I would argue the second most famous public figure in the world. And so, you know, there is that kind of realm that they open themselves up for that. Like, you know, and it's not the only time she's been criticized for her accent. Stephen Colbert will bring on Laura Bertrani or whatever her name is, or Bertani to portray Melania Trump, to do the accent. And they play it up, they play it over the top, they stereotype it. So why is that not been hit as hard as this one? It makes me believe that there might be a couple other, you know, other elements involved in this one. Now, it says a petition to boycott ABC's late night funny man Jimmy Kimmel has reached more than 50,000 signatures after the live host dedicated a segment of the show Monday to mock the First Lady Melania Trump and her accent. I wouldn't say that's a little bit kind of over the top there, Jerome Hudson. He didn't really dedicate an entire segment to make fun of her accent. All it was talking about the White House Easter egg hunt and how she was reading this book and she was reading it in her accent, and he kind of mocked it twice. And I think at one point looked to Jarbo and said, hey, you could be First Lady. That was it. That was the joke. But that's what set like Sean Hannity off. Now, it says here that we may not get him kicked off the air, reads a recently launched petition, which calls for the boycott of Jimmy Kimmel Live, but we can send a message that these attacks on our First Lady will not be tolerated. Right. Okay. Yeah. I find it interesting when, you know, people in the public spotlight in the political era, like they go like, oh, no, don't attack this person. It's like, it was a surface level. It was playing up a stereotype. It was a stupid, I wouldn't have made the joke myself. But at the same time, it's like, that's like, if that is what you're getting mad at, there are other things people have said, you know, that have been way worse. Like the whole Colbert, Putin, Trump cock holster joke. It was just like that got people really mad. Ultimately didn't do anything to hurt Stephen Colbert, just as this is not going to do anything that will hurt Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy caused a stir last week with his monologue mocking Mrs. Trump reading a children's book to the kids at the White House Easter egg hunt, saying no White House Easter celebration would be complete without story time from our First Lady. But it says here, be clever and curious just like a cat. Mrs. Trump reads in the video played by Kimmel, asked lots of questions about this and that. While his audience laughed along, Kimmel delivered a mocking impression of the First Lady accent saying, yeah, about dies and that. It's playing up the stereotype of the Eastern European trying to talk in English. This is not anything that is new. I mean, there's, you know, Yakov Smirnov is a pretty popular comic back in the day who very much played up the over-the-top accent, very much played that up. There's Robin Williams on Moscow and the Hudson playing a lot of that over-the-top accent. It's not out of the realm of normalcy to kind of like, to kind of stereotype that type of accent. But I just find it interesting that the people on the right are virtue signaling for Melania Trump. Even there's no better way to describe it, really. Now it says here, Guillermo, you know what this means. You could be First Lady of the United States, Kimmy said to his Mexican immigrant sidekick. Yeah, good old Guillermo. I like Guillermo quite a bit, actually. Now, the boycott organizers plan to mail the petition to the front door of Disney ABC Studios in Burbank, California, saying, let's send a message that these attacks on our First Lady will not be tolerated. It's just like, I mean, I can understand like leaving out like Chelsea Clinton or leaving out, you know, Obama's kids or you know, Jenna and Sasha Bush. Like, I get that because they're the kids, they're not involved. Melania's involved. She's not above criticism. Even if it is her voice, she's not above criticism here. Anyone in the public space, and I'm saying this, trust me, like anyone in the public space is not above criticism. But looking at the petition here, I look at this and I kind of laugh because it feels like this is I feel like this is kind of like controlled opposition, to be honest with you. It says, boycott the Jimmy Kimmel show for mocking and attacking our First Lady Melania Trump. Mocking her, satirizing her, yes. Attacking, I mean, come on, man. That's such an overreach of what happened. Progress is 151,002 signatures with a goal of 50,000 signatures. Damn, that's a lot. It says, on Monday night, left-wing host Jimmy Kimmel showed his true bigotry by mocking the way our First Lady was reading a children's book during the annual Easter egg roll at the White House. In the past, he has claimed to be loving and accepting of all immigrants, but he openly made fun of her accent and his crowd laughing along. He even reacted the way she says this and that. I know the horror, but Trump going up there and saying, oh, to a disabled journalist, totally fine in their book. I'm just saying, it's like, I'm not trying to use whataboutism here, like as a gotcha, but I'm saying it's like, there have been things that people on their side have overlooked, just as on the left, there are things that people have overlooked to fit a certain narrative. That's one of the biggest problems when you start getting into this kind of party politic nonsense. Melania Trump was not attacked, not at all, but people are just, they're really mad. And then you see, watch the disgusting attack below. Right. And then this petition will be sent out to the front door of ABC, Burbank, and everything else. And it's just like, yeah, all right, send a message that these attacks on our First Lady will not be tolerated. That's kind of where we are right now. And I just have to laugh at that, to be honest with you. I understand why people are upset. It felt like a cheap shot. And to be fair, it was an absolute cheap shot. But we live in the age of cheap shots. Honestly, I want to criticize Melania Trump for running on the idea of ending cyber bullying when her husband's going on Twitter and like bullying people on Twitter. There's a level of hypocrisy there. And people could argue, well, she can't control what the president says. No, but she's still the First Lady. This is her initiative, and she'd be like, Donald, like, calm it a little bit, but she's not going to stop him. It kind of feels like a bit of a wasted effort, in my opinion, but something that could easily be mocked and scrutinized because of just where we currently are with that. Now, I want to be fair and say that I didn't feel the joke was funny, but she's still in the public eye. It wasn't an attack. It was just mocking and everything else. And that's it. Now, the big thing here, and it's one of the reasons why I want to argue, at least hypothesize for a second, that this might be a little bit of the controlled opposition, because this is coming after, by the way, after the whole situation involving Sean Hannity and Jimmy Kimmel, where Hannity, oh my God, Hannity was mad at Kimmel, like Kimmel fucked his sister. You know what I mean? Like, how dare you say this about the First Lady? How dare you? And it's like, it's a joke, dude. It's like, that's it. Like, just get over it. I mean, like, straight up Kimmel, like I said, was virtue signaling up a storm for the First Lady. Like, you almost want to sit there and like message Kimmel or message Hannity and go, dude, stop. Like, you just like, I get it. She's not going to fuck you. Like, just cut it out. Like, just cut it out. It's not going to happen, but of course he's friends with Donald. So that's kind of where it's coming from, clearly. But it progressed. And then Kimmel made like a gay joke about Hannity and Trump, and then like, oh my God, the right wing who doesn't like the left wing who very much cares about those kind of jokes, and then the right wing who generally doesn't care about those kind of jokes use it as a way to jump on that, just jumped on him for that. And it's like, so he apologized trying to end the feud. I don't think Hannity's going to necessarily accept it. And now we've got this particular petition. Again, this whole situation is a simple mess. And part of the big problem here is that Kimmel actually like fought back, right? What he should have done is just ignored it and walked away, and that would have ended it. But unfortunately, and this happens a lot in every facet of the internet where people actually have personalities and they talk. Once your ego gets bruised, it's hard sometimes to not respond. And that's kind of where we find ourselves right here with Jimmy Kimmel. It was a dumb joke. Leave it at that. You know, he says he apologized. He's not going to do it again. Cool. But no, once the gloves are off in this particular case, it doesn't matter. Now we have party over peace, and that's where we're just going to see this whole thing end up. And just another great shit show on the internet. What you just saw was a shorter clip from a longer show. The Rustled podcast airs every Sunday through Thursday night at 9:30 p.m. Pacific Standard on rustled.net. Please consider subscribing to the channel as well as 3 Buck Theater and potentially becoming one of our sponsors at patreon.com/mundanematt. Thank you and have a great day.